Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey y'all, I'm JJ.
Hey guys, it's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Hey there. Hi there. How do you do? This is a new episode of a little podcast that we like to call But Am I Wrong? And that is when we two people, hi, hello, we do hot takes, rants, whatever. There's 3 different segments. We'll get to each one of them.
Yep. And all you really need to know is you are a participant in this, not just through your ears and like listening, but we have so many opinions that we like to share. And we also like to hear your opinions. So while we might say that we rule with the sparkly glitter gavel of what we think is right, what we think is wrong, we welcome your input as well.
Also, Patreon people, you're just now tuning in right now because I forgot to hit video, but you heard it.
Yeah, it's okay. Sorry. And on Patreon, you'll also notice the sky going light and dark and changing. And that is what I call spring in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
The clouds have been so juicy.
I haven't gone outside enough to even notice. I know you've been tilling away outdoors.
Oh, so here's another part of my delusions.
Mm-hmm.
How I truly believe that similarly to how if I could do math, I would be a world-renowned engineer because like I love puzzles. If it was not for my health, I could be such a good construction worker because I love the tactile things of moving things. I love moving something to here. I love breaking things down. I have so much drive that is not matched by the endurance my heart can take. But boy, oh boy, do I have the grit and do I have the emotional heart? I don't have the physical heart. I do have the emotional heart and I have the passion for it.
What about getting stuck under a wheelbarrow?
And then I problem solved my way out of that one.
By calling?
Yeah, but I also got into a specific position where I was able to save it. And I would have been able to get it out if it was just me. But I was trying to preserve my energy.
Let's not do that again.
No, that's what everyone kept saying. Then I did a little bit longer. But then Mott's hired people, so then I actually can do it.
Great.
He's like, at this point, he's going to like set me up in the living room like with a puzzle and be like, stay here.
And it is on camera.
Yep.
On video, on wavelengths. I said weeks ago, because I didn't think either one of you should have been out there handling anything.
No, he was not well.
And I said, please hire people. And you said,
I just had so much fun. I was like ripping things up. I can
love understand.
It.
You could be out there assisting, but you shouldn't be the main point person.
No. you are right. Moz kept saying like, I can delegate, and I don't like delegating because I don't have the words. I'm not good at explaining things like that. Like, let me get out there. Put me in, coach.
How about you not delegate? You just say, what can I help with? And then they'll give you a task where they can send you off to be on your way. And then if you get stuck under something, someone will be out there to assist you.
Well, I learned my lesson. I didn't get stuck again. And also, for me, I've got great form. So like I'm sore in all the good places versus Mods, who was like walking around like he was like 95 years old. And I said, you didn't engage your core.
Like me, I was just working out inside my home. And I couldn't, from Wednesday to Sunday, I could not touch my own elbow doing this. Like if you're watching the video, I have my arm bent where I am holding my shoulder. Couldn't do that until I still worked out on Monday. It was still mildly sore and I couldn't move my arm all the way up. But then I did a 30-minute stretch. Also on Saturday, I took an Epsom bath and I was still pretty sore, but it wasn't as sore as I'd been. But I did a 30-minute stretch and that really did it.
There's a different level of pain that gets you. And I was thinking about that when Motz's legs were dying after we were doing this like workout, when he was doing ripping up the stuff in the front yard. And it was like, oh, this is like the perfect example of like the composition of bodies where it's like as women, we're so used to like, we have bigger calves than men do anyways, because like you're wearing heels. We those muscles are built like that. And then the arms like that, the way that some of those muscles have never engaged because they don't need to engage because your core has to engage because you've got boobs and your back has to engage and all this stuff. Your arms don't have to work the same way. That like when you work them out like that, it's like something is horribly wrong.
Yes.
I am broken and sewn together in a little sack.
I was like, am I ever going to be okay?
No, the first time, and it's only happened to me twice, I was like, I actually can't work out my arms like that again. Like it was really scary. I literally was like, I'm going to have to learn how to live like this. Like I could not see the end of it. So I felt really bad. But you put on a sports bra in like 6 minutes, which I thought was very impressive.
It was very painful.
Yeah. Ow. Well, anyways, we'll get into each of the segments, like Melissa said, before they start. But just know that the fun part about this is your participation. So we love to hear your opinions, and we make votes on our Instagram stories for each episode pertaining to all the different segments. And then we ask you to vote on who you think was wrong in each one. And then tomorrow, our Friday episode, but it won't be for this episode tomorrow, it'll be one before, we have Fisting Friday where we read the results of last week's episode of But Am I Wrong? And we also take all of your submissions. So we love to hear when people respond to each story being like, oh, well, I thought this, or maybe this, or this, or whatever. And then we read them all. And sometimes there's even updates from like the original people who have written in, or we'll have updates for like the newsy parts. But it's a great time. So vote along.
All right. First segment, it is But Am I Wrong? That is when we pick something from our personal lives that we would like to rant about. It doesn't necessarily have to be personal. It can be anything that has really ruffled our feathers. We want to rant about, or like something in our actual lives that we might have been wrong in, or just thoughts and feelings that we're sharing. So I have a hot take this week, and it's very hot.
Oh, I love this.
You ready?
I have no idea if I'm going to agree or not. I can't wait.
Oh, you'll agree. And if you don't,
Goodbye.
we have a problem.
The end. See ya.
DEI is...
I wonder what I'm going to think.
DEI is the new N-word with a hard R.
I literally just saw something about this.
Again, DEI is the new N-word with a hard R. So just so we can, this is one of my ones that I've researched. So it's going to be a little dissertation, if you will. If you're wondering what DEI is, it's an organizational framework which seeks to promote the fairness and treatment and full participation of all people. And so groups of people have been historically underrepresented or subject to discrimination on the basis of identity or disability. The D in DEI stands for diversity, E stands for equity, and the I stands for inclusion. The roots for DEI were in the 1960s when anti-discrimination legislative movement, when the laws like Equal Pay Act of 1963, Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, and the Age Discrimination Employee Act of 1967, they all addressed labor issues that were based on protected classes. And then somewhere in the late 80s and 90s, people were like trying to stop discrimination. And they were like, discrimination of people in certain groups isn't enough. And the kind of ethos of those initiatives was to go beyond just avoiding discrimination and to actively change organizations so that they were more welcoming and being inclusive. So then we jump to current-ish times a few years ago. In 2003, corporations spent $8 billion annually on diversity. And then after the election of Donald Trump in 2016, and then hashtag Me Too and Black Lives Matter movements. And then Time Magazine stated in 2019 that the DEI industry, now we're calling it an industry, had exploded in size. Within academia in 2019, a survey found that spending on DEI efforts had increased 27% over the 5 preceding academic years. And then we get to 2020. And the estimated place and the size of global diversity and inclusion market was at $7.5 billion. And $3.4 billion of that was in the United States. And they projected that by 2027, it would reach $17.2 billion. But that was before people started banning it.
Yeah.
And so in 2021, New York Magazine stated that the business became astronomically larger after the murder of George Floyd in May 2020. And The Economist has also stated that surveys of international companies indicated that the number of people hired for jobs with diversity, quote unquote, or inclusion, quote unquote, in the title had more than quadrupled since 2010. And so I want to take a moment to talk about the rise and fall of DEI. In the wake of George Floyd, I said on this podcast and amongst people that I know that think anything that people were doing was real. And I was like, why are people mad today when they should have always been mad, and that they're doing this for smoke and mirrors? It was all an act, and it was people like not even actually caring. It was performative activism. And then someone told me, they were like, well, we would be madder if they weren't doing anything. And I was like, I wouldn't, because I know that this shit is fake. Like, nothing about this is gonna be sustainable. This is not an actual change. People are just doing this because one, the pandemic was happening, and then two, people didn't have anything else to do, and they're like, this looks like the right thing I should be doing, so let's do it. According to the Chronicle of Higher Education Institutes, they're making an argument that there's a lot of like criticism. Some schools are removing the word diversity from titles of offices and jobs. Some are closing campus spaces that are set up for students according to identity. Some are ending diversity training, and some have stopped asking all faculty and staff for written affirmations of their commitment to diversity.
Insane. And do these people know what words mean?
Yep. And then as of 2024, affirmative action rhetoric has been increasingly replaced by emphasis on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and 9 states have explicitly banned its use in the employment process. The Supreme Court in 2023 explicitly rejected the affirmative action regarding race in college admissions in the Student Fair Admissions versus Harvard. The court held that affirmative action programs lack sufficient focus and measurable objectives warranting the use of race, unavoidably employ race in a negative manner, involve racial stereotyping, and lack meaningful endpoints. We have never permitted admission programs to work in that way, and we will not do so today. That's what they said in that argument. So, like I said, it was all fake. Like, everybody just were doing it to do it. And now they're like, okay, people are becoming a little bit more aware of what's happening in the world. We got to shut this down. We're losing our base. That's what the right wing is saying. And so now I want to talk about something that tragically happened a couple days ago. The Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore was struck by a boat, and devastatingly, a lot of lives were lost. The videos look
horrible.
Scary. Like, it looked like fake AI.
They took them like hours to verify because no one would report on it because they all thought it was fake.
Yeah.
Wish it was fake.
I wish it was fake. And so someone from a paid Twitter account that spews hateful bullshit tweeted, This is Baltimore's DEI mayor commenting on the collapsed Francis Scott Bridge. And so, in case you don't know, Brandon Scott, I don't know if he's related to the person the bridge is named after. Probably not. But Brandon Scott is a 39-year-old Black man who was elected as mayor of Baltimore in 2020 with 70% of the votes. He did not come through any office of DEI. Also, Baltimore is a majority Black place. So, like, shut the fuck up. Someone also accused him of looking too young, and they were mad that he was wearing a jacket and not a suit, which we all know are dog whistles. Also, other people like George W. Bush and Donald Trump have been out addressing people, addressing the media in bomber jackets, the same way that this man was.
They wear the male equivalent of juicy tracksuits.
Yes.
Like, come on.
And then also we have the recent Pennsylvania senator, who's a white man, Jonathan Fetterman, was walking around in a hoodie and shorts. And then in Pennsylvania, they've now adopted a more relaxed, informal dress code amongst the senators.
I hate that man.
So do I, but I just want to share.
He dresses like Adam Sandler.
Yes.
Like,
I understand, but I'm just saying,
come on,
like,
guys. What's the clear difference here?
What's the difference here? And then another racist account responded and said, I have all sorts of problems with DEI ideology and DEI practices, but if these dumbasses are going to simply use DEI as a synonym for Black, then count me out. This is monstrously stupid and offensive. So when you even get the racists saying, you know what? I'm just drawing the line here.
I draw the line here.
Yeah. So this is just one of the many times that DEI has been used as a slur. It has, in a way, replaced how the right uses the word woke and critical race theory, or CRT. And so the other morning, Brandon Scott was on MSNBC with Joyanne Reid, and he was responding to this comment that was made about him. And he said, Black men and young Black men in particular have been the boogeyman for those who are racist and think that only straight, wealthy white men should have a say in anything. We've been the boogeymen for them since the first day they brought us to this country. And what they mean by DEI, in my opinion, is duly elected incumbent. We know what they want to say, but they don't have the courage to say the N-word. And the fact that I don't believe in their untruth and wrong ideology, I'm very proud of my heritage and who I am and where I come from, scare them, because me being in my position means that their way of thinking, their way of life, of being comfortable, and while everyone else suffers, is going to be at risk, and they should be afraid, because that's my purpose in life. So there we have it. DEI is not a scary word. It also includes a lot of people, including, like, I saw a lot of white right-wing veterans tweeting things, and DEI includes them. If you're a woman, DEI includes you.
If you have a disability, DEI includes you.
Yes.
If you will eventually get a disability, like, DEI doesn't benefit you from birth. It can benefit you later in life.
Any point in life. So, fuck off.
I wholeheartedly agree with this. I literally looked up, because when was watching the news, seeing him, didn't even notice he wasn't wearing a suit, because if anyone wants to look up what he's wearing, it's a professional outfit. Like,
Yeah,
he looks like he looks to me like he's going to work. This is not someone you've pulled up. This is not random man off of the street. This man is outfit put together and young and gorgeous. Look, but he's 40. Like, yes, it's some of the bitterness there.
He's a gorgeous man.
He's a gorgeous man.
Yes.
He's just to say it,
like,
he's a gorgeous man.
He's gorgeous, but he looked like a professional.
Yeah, and by no means does he look like a hot man cosplaying a real job.
Yes.
Like, no, it's like, we should be intimidated. You are smart, gorgeous, hot, and good at your job, and
compassionate,
and wonderfully empathetic in a way that I haven't seen. I haven't seen a government elected official with that level of compassion on television in a very fucking long time. All of that, I literally was like, I wonder what his history is. And I look it up, and I was like, he doesn't work in fucking DE. I was like, embarrassing for me, couldn't even wrap my mind around the fact that there is a tragedy where people have died, and somehow racists are like, feels like a great opportune time to be racist. Go, what? What the fuck? fucking insane.
Yep.
Truly fucking insane. And I think that the fact that the Twitter paying all of that shit is what gives the voice, the megaphone to these fucking rage bait asshole fucking people. And the fact that he even had to address this.
Yep. He went on MSNBC.
Insane.
Yeah.
Fuck them all. Fuck them all. And they need to learn how to like read and understand. Like, do they not?
I was reading through that person's account and they're just a disgusting human being.
Yeah. Just rage baiting for money.
Yes.
And I, as a society, don't think we should let those people like live with peace.
No.
I think they should be tormented in every aspect of their life. I don't think they should feel comfortable like walking outside without getting like absolutely
Punched
screamed
in the
at,
face?
yelled at, punched in the face.
Perhaps.
Might I give the man we will talk about later a new target?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that will not happen.
Yeah.
Makes me irate. Horrible. And just for anyone, things I've learned in the last couple of days, that whenever you drive across a bridge, you should always have your windows rolled down. Did not know that. And I think that...
But also, it's freezing cold in Baltimore right now.
No, totally. But just along the lines of being able to...
Get out.
Wherever you are, like, it's not always going to work, but like, it's increases your likelihood of a better outcome just a little bit, at least. But also, wholeheartedly, I think that if something that is built for boats to go under, if there's a certain kind of boat that cannot go under it, the infrastructure that all Republicans are saying, we need more money put into the city. How about we put the money in? Like, that should not happen.
Yeah.
That should not happen.
It shouldn't happen.
We should not have things that civilians and workers are going across, things that are in use that can only be done in a certain way that the people who are using them cannot control. Cannot control, nor can you visibly see any of that. Horrible, horrible. And then I read a bunch of things about the height of bridges based on having... I think it was Black and Hispanic buses were like taller or something, and how they and that's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So ironic we're talking about DEI here when we actually could, because there could be an actual real history lesson here.
Yeah, I read, it was years ago, but I read about how they built New Jersey in a way that certain buses and things wouldn't go to a certain part of town because of the way that the bridges were built. So, and I'm sure that happened elsewhere, and probably here in Baltimore, and there in Baltimore too. But yeah, I specifically read about that in New Jersey.
Yeah. So we could have a conversation about
everything in this country is built around racism.
Yep.
The country was built on racism.
That's fucking, those people, they will be haunted for the rest of it. Like, to think that, haunted for the rest of your lives.
Yeah.
And your grandchildren, your grandchildren, your grandchildren. And I wish you pain and suffering eternally. Well, you're not wrong.
Thank you.
I don't disagree. I have no hangups. I have no, well, maybe. No. So mine is a little controversial. And I know this because I said this to Mott's once, and he was like, no. Like, he's like, I can't even get into this with you. And I needed to tell him that I was joking, so he dropped it. And I'm not joking. And he doesn't listen to this podcast, so it's fine. My hot take is writing is for women. Being an author.
Oh, writing. I thought you said writing. I was like, in what sense?
Anyone can ride whatever you want to ride. But when we are writing with a W and a T, that is women's work. Being an author is for the girly pops. And girly pops has a wide range. I'm not talking about just cis women. If you identify as a girly pop, you can be an author. You can be a writer. If you I identify as a cis het man, I'm so sorry. Writing is actually not for you. That is for women. And I'm going to sit here and tell you, I cannot name a single male author. I don't know one, Melissa.
John Grisham?
Don't know who that is. Am I proud? No. Every book that I have read that has ignited a fire in me, well, one is written by a man, but I can't remember his last name, so it doesn't count.
You like the Pussy book too. She Comes First. That was written by a man.
Yeah, but I don't remember his name, so it doesn't count.
Okay.
These women have made a lasting impact on my life. Did Stephanie Meyer write a book about Mormonism coded as vampires? Yes. Could a man have written something like that? No. Is what she wrote good? No. But did it change the course of history? Also, yes. Every woman who has been a writer to me has written they've written my life. They've written the dialogues. They've written the things I long for, the things I care about. And I think who's actually doing the heavy lifting of this and who agrees with me is The Cut. because The Cut.
This is where you were going with this?
Yes. The Cut has made it their personal mission. And I would just like to say a thank you. The Cut has made it their personal mission for us to know that writing is women's work. And we are having more and more illuminating personal essays written by women that The Cut says, I'm ready to publish this. And the way that I have read, not even the full article, because I'm out of my free one, so I got to get a link from someone else or a screenshot from this woman who wrote, entitled, Age Gap Relationships, The Case for Marrying an Older Man. This article opens up with,
Did Shira 7 write this article?
no, the subtitle is, A Woman's Life is All Work and Little Rest. You know what? Yes. I am obsessed with reading these. Like, a man can't write an article about wanting to date or about dating a woman who is only, Melissa, 10 years younger. Only 10 years fucking younger. You can't write an article like that and then refer to your high breasts. Women have a way of making these things so beautiful. And there's only a level of delusion that I think a girly pop can be. And I think what The Cut has provided us, between Caroline Calloway, between the woman who put her money in a shoebox, between this age gap relationship, what this is telling me is what Shonda Rhimes has been trying to tell us all along. Women's stories matter.
Mm-hmm.
Men's stories, I'm so sorry, until you tell me you put $50,000 in a shoebox, or until you tell me that you peruse the library trying to find these men and you write this in a flowery way as if you are writing a romantic poem, yet you don't post this man on Instagram and about how you're seeking for him, and she thinks she invented dating a man older. Again, she was 23, he was 33. As someone who hates age gap relationships, no, that's not that big. That man's in his 30s. He didn't marry a sugar daddy. We're in the renaissance of female authors. And I think that the men need to look at the space they're in, and I think they need to pack it up because they can't hold a fucking candle to this. A woman brought us Hunger Games.
I just went through all the audiobooks that I've directed to see what the ratio was here. I've directed about 45 books at this point, and only one of them was written by a man that wouldn't consider themselves girly pop.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is a girly pop career. They want to see, like, women get back in the kitchen. Get back in the kitchen and get back with your quill and your ink. Like, you go to war. I'll write a book about it.
Yeah.
Like, let us write. And they always say, women are too emotional. You girlies are too emotional. Okay.
We
then
don't start wars, though.
No, and then stop trying to write a book. Like, what are you, an emotional girl? Like, ew, like, give it back to me. Let me type this up on my, let me have my cute little stationery. Like, fuck off. I don't want to hear what you have to say. No. Mats was like, what? And I was like,
he is an avid reader.
No, I know. And I was like, men can't. And also, you know, the example that I told him was, what's his name that we talked about? James Patterson. All of his books written by women.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying. And even it has been heavily hypothesized that Shakespeare, a lot of his written by women, like
a black woman to be
yes,
exact.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, you go back in history and you go, but think about this amazing male author. Unless I have seen a picture of him at a typewriter and I see everything written out as it's happening, you can't tell me that maybe a woman did. You can't tell me his wife didn't write it all and he just took credit.
What about Stephen King?
I don't know much about that man.
A lot of TV shows. I feel like you like
you know, I love that
based
one.
on.
No, I did. He did a mini series about they were stuck in a bubble. What was it called? I don't know, but they were stuck in a bubble, and I loved that one. It was really good.
But actually,
your dad definitely watched that too.
I actually think Stephen King might identify in the girly pop way.
I'm sorry, it was a TV show about people trapped in a bubble. That's girly pop
on Twitter.
Girly pop,
yeah,
girly pop. That's what I'm saying. I just think that, like, if we want to, like, get so into, like, these gender roles, I need men to understand that writing is not for you. You can crunch a number, but so can a woman. But, like, get out of here with this. Am I marrying someone who's a creative writing major who is a man? Yes. But I identify him as a little more of a girly pop. Also, he likes to write, like, scary things. There's nothing more girly pop than a little horror short story.
Well, that's what Stephen King
That's what I'm saying. Like, you like to get spooky? You like to get camp? Okay. Girly pop. Like, gun to my head, I cannot name a male author. The guy who wrote Perks of Being a Wallflower is a girly pop, but I don't even remember his last name. It's Stephen, first name? That could even be wrong. Charles Dickens? Is that a character?
The fact that I'm thinking about this is a writer.
Also, can we just talk about the biggest girly pop of them all? Nicholas Sparks. That is a girly pop.
Yeah.
he is writing about Allie and Noah making love on the floor. Girly pop.
Yeah.
What other books do we need? If you're not going to write it, like, no. You're a man, you want to write a book? Okay, girly pop. Tell me what it's about. We'll see. We'll see. And they're getting paid way more, which, stop. Can't even name any of them. Goodbye. Men just need to know their place. And it's at war or underneath a car. Not because they were killed, but like if they want to fix a car. But I would prefer a woman to fix my car.
Did you see there's a mechanic place that is women owned and women operated? And they also, it's not here, unfortunately. I know.
I hate the mechanics here.
I know. Me too. But they also have a nail salon there. So while you're waiting, you can get your nails done.
Fuck up.
Which, perfect.
Perfect timing.
It takes so long.
And what am I supposed to do? Sitting for an hour and a fucking half in a little uncomfortable chair?
Watching Gilmore Girls, because that's what's always on TV.
Mm-hmm. That's at the nail salon, not at the mechanic.
No, at the mechanic. That's how I've always seen.
I thought that was at the nail salon.
No, I always saw Gilmore Girls while I was getting my car worked on.
Hey, you don't know that that's not woman owned then. I'm going to tell you right now, you can't be confident.
I think they just left it on and it would just be on the TV.
They're watching Supernatural. Well, still, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's the amount of times that they're like, okay, well, an hour and a half. And it's just like, I'm going to sit in this chair next to a vending machine
and
a TV on mute.
And the coffee and the hot cocoa, which is just water.
And I'm like, cool. I could be getting my nails done.
If I get in there early enough, there are some fresh donuts, though.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that's our next business venture.
We have a lot we need to get to. Well, we're going to take a break. And when we get back, we'll get into But Are You Wrong?
Woo!
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you love Disney? Then you are going to love our hit podcast, Disney Countdown. I'm Meghan, the magical millennial.
And I'm the dapper Danielle.
On every episode of our fun and family-friendly show, we count down our top 10 lists of all things Disney. There is nothing we don't cover.
We are famous for rabbit holes, Disney-themed games, and fun facts you didn't know you needed, but you definitely need in your life. So if you're looking for a healthy dose of Disney magic, check out Disney Countdown wherever you get your podcasts.
We are back, and it's time for But Are You Wrong? And this is where we read your submissions that you send to butamiwrongpod@gmail.com. 300 words or less. You let us know the circumstance or situation you currently find yourself in and ask us the age-old question, am I wrong? Would you be wrong for feeling this way? Would you be wrong about doing this? The feeling this way, you're never wrong about feelings, but usually more along in the context of the larger story. And we will tell you if you are wrong. So we do ask that you include your age. You can include your pronouns if you would like, and it's all anonymous. So give people some pseudonyms, and we will do our very best to rule, but it might not be in your favor. So just
and it
know.
might not be fair.
Yeah. We're biased, and you know what going into it.
All right. First one up. Hey, Eminem. Love the podcast. It has helped me through some tough times. I am 32, she, her. I was a teen mom. I had my daughter at 16. Now she's 16, and I really don't want her to follow my footsteps. She hasn't even mentioned sex yet, but I would like to be proactive. I am just wanting to do what I think is best. We have a very open relationship, so I feel like she would tell me. I've opened the floor for her to tell me plenty of times, and she hasn't. She's had the same boyfriend for about a year. I also don't want to base her life off mine. Being a teen mom was hard, in all caps. It still has its challenges, and I just don't want her to go through that. Would it be wrong for me to put her on birth control just in case?
I don't think so. If she wants to get on birth control.
That's the thing. Does she want to get on birth control? I know someone's parents who, I know the whole family, their mother put all of them on birth control when they turned 15, no matter what, and they didn't have a say in it.
Yeah, no, that's not okay.
That's not okay. If you're talking to your daughter, and I don't think it should just be about like having a conversation about birth control. Like you should have a whole conversation about sex as a whole.
STDs.
What sex is, like consent, STDs, what pleasure is. And I think that's a really hard conversation that most parents don't have. Yeah. But I think pleasure is a vital conversation to have when you're talking about sex. Like it should be enjoyable.
Yeah.
You don't just do it because you think you should do it. And so if you've had all these conversations and then she's like, I am interested in having sex with my boyfriend at some point. I don't know when it'll be. Yes, I would like to go on birth control. Then you wouldn't be wrong in that situation. But if you're just going to give her birth control without having
a Flintstone gummy, like it's not. Yeah.
You're so lucky you had a Flintstone gummy. When back in my day, we had little tablets and they were chalky and disgusting.
Vitamins were like that?
Yes.
Ew.
And you chew it.
I wasn't actually allowed to have the gummies, but I know they existed. But I could have the ones that were chewy and like tasty.
Well, you probably could have had those then. But yeah, so have an actual conversation. Not wrong. No conversation. Take this pill. Very wrong.
Yeah, I would put it in like the whole like realm of like reproductive health as like a whole, because I think putting kids, teenagers on birth control without the knowledge of not all birth controls are the same. Like you might not like the side effects of this. And if like this is just, oh, we have to put you on birth control without you knowing, hey, this pill might not work for you. And then let's try another one here. Kids, you can just stop taking it. And then it's like, oh, I didn't like how it made me feel. So I stopped taking it, but I didn't tell you that I stopped taking it. So I think that there is nothing wrong with wanting your kid to have safe sex. I also think that no matter how close you are with your kid, sometimes they aren't going to tell you something. And so making sure that even if it feels like a very one-sided conversation, that the conversation's still happening, even if they're not coming to you saying X, Y, and Z. You know, they might not participate, but like they'll hear what you have to say and take it in, and how it's like, you know, STDs and STIs really important with using condoms. And, you know, even if you're the only partner they've ever been with, if someone can have oral herpes and they can have a grandmother who had it, who then kissed them on the lips, and then somehow it ends up on genitals, and then that can spread in X, Y, and Z, and what it looks like if it's an active outbreak or it's not. But also like, you know, if you don't remember to take your birth control every day, if you're I know me as a teenager was taking like antibiotics for my skin. It's not as effective that way. And what to do about Plan B and all of those other things. My friend Jenica had her daughter Annika at younger than 16, and they've talked about a lot. They do like a whole Q&A on their YouTube channel, Jenica and Annika, check them out, where they've like talked about raising a teenager as a teen mom and like having that parallel age difference of being like, oh, you are the age now where like I was having sex at that age, and like what is that? And, you know, going back to like what was the circumstance in your life where this like, was it a lack of sex education? What was the lack of like how you actually understand about getting pregnant, or the privacy or whatever that was? So I think that like caring about this and like not just caring about it in the hypothetical, but in like the fact that you want to do stuff and you want to have those conversations. I don't think you're wrong at all. But I think that without informed consent for like both of you of like what this would mean, I don't think it'll achieve anything. Like, I don't think it'll actually be like effective birth control, because effective birth control is the birth control you take. And it's because you are invested in taking it as well.
And it shouldn't also just be a conversation about birth control, other types of contraceptives too. Also, I think after you have that conversation, like on a mother-daughter level, then going to the doctor and having the conversation on a medical level. So the doctor, female doctor, preferably if you can, because that would make it more comfortable for her. Having a conversation about it from a medical standpoint as well. And like what birth control does to your body too.
Yeah. And like, I was not a product of like a teen pregnancy whatsoever, but I do think the narrative is important to stress that pregnancy is very hard and having a kid is like very expensive, totally. But sometimes when people are trying to make to scare their kids or to educate their kids into not having sex, it can sometimes come across as a child is a negative consequence of something. So making sure that like in all of this, that's still your kid that you're talking about. And like, it's very easy as someone who definitely did that in hearing conversations like that, you can take it personally and be like, this feels like I did something bad by just being born here. And so, but you're very aware of it. And I honestly, I do not know any teen moms who have gone through this conversation with their kids and like it has not, that it's gone poorly. Like the level of transparency I've seen with like people I know who are teen moms and the way they talk to their kids, I was not talked to that with that level of like respect or honesty. So I think like you even wanting to do this and not just avoid all of this is like shows that you care. So I don't think you would be wrong if they also want that. What's up, queens and listeners? Hey, thanks. I'm a 24-year-old female and I use she, her pronouns. So with Easter coming up, my mom sent out a message in our family group chat about attending Sunday service. My family are devout Catholics. Well, I still am religious. I do not go to church. I'm against going to church, but I was literally forced to go my whole life. Now that I'm older on my own, I finally have a choice, and I choose not to go. I have zero intentions on going. I humor my mom by going for Christmas service, and that's it. Am I wrong for not going to church on Easter? As someone who is also a devout Catholic, I don't think you're wrong at all.
She's not a devout Catholic, in case this is your first time listening.
No, I'm not. When I was picking mine, I go, I should pick this one because I know absolutely nothing about Easter, nor do I know anything about most religion. I don't know anything about Christianity without a doubt. I know some things about Catholicism, but not the good stuff. No,
Catholicism is part of Christianity.
Yeah, but sometimes they like to make a difference depending on.
They do, but it falls under Christianity.
Yeah, it's kind of a branch. So some of them went a little so far crazy. Yeah, I mean, I think that like if you stand by your decision with something, I don't think that you're gonna regret doing it. You might, or I'm like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think you'll regret it if you like stand 10 toes down on something. You'll usually regret wavering in that for other people's comfort versus your own. But I guess like my question is like, how long is it? Are there Easter bunnies there? Is it fun?
On Easter, I don't know about in the Catholic church because I've been to Catholic churches before, but Catholic church is long as fuck. But, But on Easter in the church, I grew up in Baptist churches, and Easter is when children are giving their Easter speeches. So that's a whole thing, depending on how many children are there. And then there's preaching, which is long. And it's usually the same thing about Jesus coming back, because that's what Easter's about. And then after church, there is an Easter egg hunt. Some churches do it before, but there's an Easter egg hunt. And then you go home and do Easter at home. So it's long because you have the extra thing of the children giving their speeches. And a lot of times with the speeches, they didn't memorize it. So you've got their parents there coaching them along, or if they're just frustrated and they cry and leave. Or you have my niece Airline, when she gave her first speech, she got up there. Actually, this might have been Melanie. Now that I take it back, it wasn't even Airline. One of my niece, my sister, she got up and goes, "My mom is a good woman," and then walked off.
And your mom was like, "I know that's right." Wow.
Some people just go off cuff, but yeah.
What are the speeches supposed to be about?
It's like, Jesus has risen. Depending on how old they are, then they'll get like a one-liner. But if they like are in middle school, they'll get a whole page worth.
Oh my God.
And then we would also have people that were only coming to church on Easter but didn't come, but then they still wanted their children to be a part of it. So they have
Catholic
their kids
guilt.
standing up there. This isn't even Catholic. This is Baptist
you're right,
church.
you're right.
So they have their kids just like standing up there. The kids have no clue what's going on, but they, I guess, want to get pictures to share with other people. It was Easter is a mess in the Baptist church.
That's
and I
funny.
went to numerous because I moved around a lot. So I went to numerous churches, and I can say that Easter's a mess.
I do think Easter's the one that like, that's the one that like took Mott's the longest to be like not feeling guilty. Like when we first started, he like went one year. I was like, what? And he was like, I feel bad. Like I feel like my dad. I was like, does your dad expect you to go? And he goes, I don't know, but I just feel like he would. And then finally, like he stopped going. But like it was Christmas is still the one that if we have to, we'll go to. But like, can you not go if there's an Easter egg hunt? As someone who is so pro Easter egg hunt, can you just go for that part and then be like, oh, you missed me. I was actually sitting in the back. I was over there.
So you're going to lie at church?
I'm sorry. As someone who's part of my family was raised Irish Catholic, some of those Catholics be lying a lot.
Okay. Yeah, they do. But like, no.
You can't lie.
No. But like, they open it up for like, in my church, it's like, if you showed up just for the Easter egg hunt and like you had kids and they want to participate, it's open for the community. Like anybody can come do the Easter egg hunt.
Yeah, especially if you're still religious. Like,
even if you're not.
I was gonna say, but if you still like, and you like your religion in the way that you've done it, someone pressuring you to do aspects of the religion that you like don't like, that's just gonna turn you off from it more. So if you go to the Easter egg hunt, you're like, oh, the Easter egg hunt would be fun for me. Like, aren't I a more pleasant Catholic? Aren't I more like into all of this kind of thing versus like the appearance of it? So like, it's beneficial for everybody, not just you.
Yeah, but in the Baptist church, Easter is when you turn looks. That is when
that's the little socks and the little shiny shoes and the headbands and the dresses with the I always wanted a little outfit like that.
So that's a plus. But as someone who is a Christian but does not go to church, I haven't stepped foot in a church for any non-funerals in years.
Fair. Do they sing on Easter?
Yeah, there's always singing.
Okay.
There's always singing.
Well, it depends on if there's good songs.
Yeah. Speaking of, Brie had posted like the top, I think it was top 10 church songs. And we got into a little discussion. Like it was somebody had did a Instagram post, and she shared it. And the one that she posted was one of the ones that we won.
We're liturgical dance.
A liturgical dance. Woo! And then the one after, that's like the one that had put us on the map internationally. I was like, all these are bops and are on my playlist. I love a good church moment with music, but like all the other stuff, it's just not for me. Not for me. Maybe when I have kids, I'll take them to get like a base learning, but like the minute they don't want to go, we don't have to go.
Yeah. I love the outfits. I love food being served. I love songs.
I'm not a big food person just because.
Oh, I'm not going to eat it, but I like that people cook for each other.
People love that. I didn't specifically because I don't like to touch things, and that should have been an early indicator.
Probably. Yeah, I don't like to eat things from other people's homes if I've never been there. And if I've been there,
a lot of times the desserts would have been prepared at someone's homes, but you have like a hospitality committee.
Oh yeah,
and they would be
stuff.
Not catering. They would be cooking in the kitchen at the church. Like during the service.
That's why they have kitchens.
Yes. So during the service, they'd be cooking. And I was like, this sounds like the fun part. I don't have to go to actual church.
No,
put me on the hospitality committee.
I get to plan a party. Yeah. I get to make some little pigs in a blanket. Like, I love this. That's so great. Yeah.
But if you're Catholic, right, and I don't know what's going on in the Catholic church. I went to my godmother's Catholic church a few times, and those were just long and boring without good music. And then we all, for communion, drank out the same cup. And I was like, this is gross.
Yeah. As far as I know, the Irish Catholic Pittsburgh, Philly side that I know, they're not the greatest songs. Not the greatest that.
No, it was just him.
Yeah.
Yep.
So do it how you want to do it. You would not be wrong at all.
Tell them you're going to throw an Easter egg hunt at the house.
Yeah. And like put on that cute little outfit.
Yeah.
Get a little hat. and hunt those eggs at home.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the end of the segment. When we get back, we'll get into But Are They Wrong?
Hey everyone, join me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa DeMonts, for Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong?
Each week, we deliver 4 fun-filled shows.
In Don't Blame Me, we tackle our listeners' dilemmas with hilariously honest advice.
Then we have But Am I Wrong, which is for the listeners that didn't take our advice. Plus, we share our hot takes on current events.
Then tune in to See You Next Tuesday for our listener poll results from But Am I Wrong?
And finally, wrap up your week with Fisting Friday, where we catch up and talk all things pop culture.
Listen to Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.
People often look at me with confusion when I ask them what their only one in the room story is. They think it has to be like mine, where I went to a 600-person event and discovered that I was the only Black person there. I know. Horrifying, right? Hi, I'm Laura Cathcart-Robbins, and I am the host and creator of the podcast Only One in the Room. Every week, my co-host Scott Slaughter and I invite you to join us for an hour and lose yourself in someone's only one story. This podcast is for anyone who has ever felt alone in a room full of people, which is to say that this podcast is for everyone.
Bitches on Comics is a bi-monthly interview podcast where we talk to the coolest LGBTQ plus folks and women in comics and pop culture.
Our unique perspectives and welcoming nature have earned us the honor of being named a best comic book podcast by Book Riot, Screen Rant, The Mary Sue, Comic Book Herald, and Comic Book Couples Counseling.
Bitches on Comics is hosted by moi, Monica Estrella Negra, filmmaker, writer, and co-founder of Audrey's Revenge Film.
And me, Essie Fleenor, comic and pop culture nerd and culture critic with writing in The Independent, Vice, Electric Literature, Star Trek, and so much more.
We're also both voting members of Gallica, the Society of LGBTQ plus entertainment critics.
Join Bitches on Comics for in-depth, hilarious, and heartfelt conversations with the likes of Stephanie Williams, Leah Anderson, and the late, great Rachel Pollack.
Listen to Bitches on Comics on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Or tune in at bitchesoncomics.com. New episodes every other Wednesday.
We are back, and it's time for our final segment, But Are They Wrong?, where we nominate a person, place, or thing, something in the news, current events, who is just being horrible and awful, and we think they deserve to be publicly shamed. And it can be anyone or anything. We have literally nominated states before. Could be people, could be whatever, the government. So what do you have as our nomination?
My nomination this week is Mario Perron, who is a Canadian art teacher and is accused of running a quote-unquote sweatshop of children to produce art at school.
Sorry. None of those things seem profitable.
Well, he set up a website using the art that his students made. So he sold pieces for $100 a piece online without the kids' permissions. One of the parents, Joel, I've never seen this last name in my life, but I will attempt it. De Belfoyer, parent of a 13-year-old student, took legal action against the teacher and the school board. He said, this guy basically had his own little, sweatshop of children. It's insane. I'm still in disbelief. So he put pieces up and called them creepy portraits painted by different students and was selling them for at least $100. Different sources say up to $151. I saw another one that was like $170 on his website, and it is believed that he plagiarized the work and had them being sold on t-shirts, cell phone cases, and coffee mugs. One assignment from Perron, the father, shared on Facebook said that the students were told to create a project in the style of Jean-Michel Basquiat. And a Montreal art teacher, that's where he's from, was using the art and just putting it up on the website. The assignment was meant to challenge and make original artwork in the style, not to copy one from this image and then that same parent took legal action, and then the legal notice he sent to the school seeking 350,000 Canadian dollars for violating Canada's copyright law. He used the artwork without consent and in bad faith. The legal notice also said for commercial purposes, bear the name of the student as the author, easily allowing for identification. So he didn't even take the kids' names off of this, which is also a problem.
Yes.
One parent, Michael Bennett, said that I'm extremely disgusted with this person and that it was unbelievable. And now 10 parents of students have joined the lawsuit and are suing Mario and the school for $1.5 million or $155K per family plus punitive damages. Money isn't the only thing that the parents want. According to the lawsuit, they want a written apology and full disclosure of any sales associated with the art. And then Edith Lyard, one of the parents, said, my daughter loves art, always has been into art. And this year, after everything happened, she said to me, I don't think I'll do art next year.
Middle school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have we seen any of the art?
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
This is like so many layers of crazy to me because like, I don't even know if he's sold any, like this isn't like a way to make an absolute ton of money. Yeah, this is like weird.
Yeah.
Like it's like weird in the sense of being like a power trip to show that you can do that, like, or some sort of like control and consent thing, because why would you do, because you're going to go through all this effort and like, who the fuck, you're probably not going to sell any of this.
Yeah.
And so it's just to be like, I own this shit.
There's so much work you have to go into
That's
to
what I'm
put up a
saying.
website.
And to like
It's messed up.
create the ability of like, are these the original pieces or are they like prints of it?
It's prints because he's putting on t-shirts and mugs and stuff.
Fucking Redbubble needs to ban him from making an account ever again. But like, it takes time like to scan all of those things and upload all those files. Like,
And make sure that they're high quality enough to be printed.
yeah,
and
this
stuff.
is so much time and effort for something that is like not going to make you money. And also, you're a teacher, yes, Canadian, but like teachers don't make a crazy amount of money, nor do you have a ton of time. So it's like you're going to take all your leftover time and energy as a second, quote unquote, side hustle of like scamming your students, but you're not actually probably going to make any money off of this.
Yeah. And like they did, as far as the assignments going, because this is what they were trying to emulate.
No,
like,
it's
this is-
great.
yeah. Like this is the professional that did this. And it's like, he's the creep. You
He's
call
so
it
creepy.
creepy artwork, but you're the creep.
Yeah. You're the, like, this is creepy.
Yeah.
And like, ew.
Yep.
And don't put any remote access to 13-year-olds for strangers on the internet to buy.
Yep.
Ew. Ew, ew. I bet his art must suck.
It has to. Because he can't think of his own art to put up there. There's no creativity.
And he's like, I should profit off of my students. And the craziest part is like the assignment of being like, don't copy this, just use it in the same style. And then he copies their artwork.
Mm-hmm.
Ironic.
Yep.
I didn't hear about this at all.
You know me. I try to find things that people haven't heard about.
No, I love the obscurity is impressive. Fuck that man.
Yeah.
Okay. For my wrong of the week, I would like to nominate all of the men punching women in New York City. So since this morning, hopefully this is most accurate, it has been 27 women. It has been happening for a long time. Lots of people have also come forward, this doesn't count the 20. This is not, as far as I know, these are not included in the 27, but people are talking about like years ago when this had happened to them and all. Like, this is not brand new whatsoever. It just is actively blowing up because specifically most of the people I've seen who've talked about this, they're talking about it now as saying, well, I've talked about this before. This happened to me like 5 years ago. Most of those are not white women. And specifically, this really blew up with a white blonde woman. And that's what the algorithm on TikTok favors. So it's getting a lot of attention. First video I saw was Haley Kate, and she describes that she was walking down the street, and she literally films this right after it has happened. And you can see this giant welt on her head. People were like, that looks like a hematoma. Like, you need to go to the hospital immediately. And she's talking about how she was walking down the street in New York. She's on her phone, but like the vast majority of women, you know, you're on your phone as a sense of comfort and safety, but you are aware of your surroundings. You know, you're not walking into someone and She's like, yeah, I'm looking at my phone, but like big sidewalk. I know I'm not near anyone. I know that I'm not getting in anyone's way. I'm on far one side. And some man walking his dog comes up to her and just fully decks her, punches her in the face, and she hits the ground and he is just gone, walks away. She talks about later, like, I think this was her, like a woman was trying to help her afterwards, or it might have been someone else who had said this, but it was like, was so shaken and startled that like just is running, runs back home. And so the theory was that like she had even presented, it felt like a punishment because she was on her phone. It was like this is teaching you a lesson. Don't look at your phone. And this theory of this being the cause, or not the cause, but one of the excuses for this, of a lesson to not be on your phone, is pretty much proven once we find out that there has been an arrest made, and Haley has confirmed that it is specifically this guy, yes, the one who has been arrested. When you go onto his TikTok account and his Instagram account, where he is just following and harassing women for being on their phone, which is ironic because he's filming them on his phone.
Right.
So his Instagram name and his TikTok name is Skabuki Storia. This is yet to be proven, and everyone I've seen who's reported this has said allegedly, so I will say allegedly as well. He is allegedly the grandson or great-grandson of Marcus Garvey. Garvey?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He has over 83,000 followers on TikTok, over 10,000 on Instagram, and he has also bought his verification on Instagram. And a huge portion of the content that he makes, if he is not standing in front of his living room with a Trump banner flag in the background and talking about libertarianism and, wearing his political baseball caps, he is walking down the street of New York City harassing women. He's on the subway harassing women. He's filming people. There are videos of 5-minute videos of him not even saying anything, just filming a woman so clearly. And we know that she knows. We know that she's feeling that. And so he's making women uncomfortable. They're getting on their phone to be like, someone's following me. I'm feeling very uncomfortable. And then, wrong thing to do. I'm going to punch you in the fucking face. So he's confirmed to be the attacker for Haley, and he's been confirmed for a couple of the other people and a couple of the other reported cases. But he's not this is not all attributed to this one singular man whatsoever. And some fun facts about him. He's run for New York City mayor, governor, and city council for the past 3 years. And he is running for the 2025 campaign for the New York City mayor or governor. I think the mayor again. And he has a $5 million GoFundMe. Someone has donated $65. I would like you to show yourself. He's a 40-year-old man, and he was, in fact, charged with assault for this. And he does have a rap sheet charged about similar things. And it is just horrible. I really hate how the reporting has been done on this of women getting punched is the headline, as opposed to men are punching women. Men are doing something to women here, and they've been doing it for a very long time. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I have a solution or anything whatsoever. I really, really hate the discourse that this delves into and breaks down into incredibly quickly, because it goes racist. It goes super very anti-mental health and really discriminatory and nasty about that. And then also hating on any sort of city, any sort of anything, and then hating women, and women need to be doing a better job, and also being anti saying, let's take away even more funding, fuck homeless people need to go to jail, all of these things, when the reason why there is not a clear and obvious solution is because the way that our justice system is set up is a perfect harmony of being incredibly racist and also not caring about women. And so there is no good, right solution. And so for anyone seeing all of this, this should solidify more ACAB, fuck the police, fuck our justice system, because there is no justice from this. Because, and I saw even people being this is why we need to bring back mental institutions. And I'm like, oh my God, that's what you take away from this. This is there's just so much failure of everything on all of this. And this is why, despite me being I'm so anti-prison industrial complex, there's a gray area in the sense of right now our justice system and our world does not hold men who abuse women accountable regardless. Yeah. So there is something that needs to be broken down from all the way at the top, all the way at the bottom. There's we have to reframe absolutely everything there, because as a society, men want to beat women, that men don't hold each other accountable. And all of this is just awful. Even the comments on his posts are awful, of people being oh man, I would have punched her too. He has these supporters and these fans, and he's only one of the people that we know of. So I was reading and watching a bunch of things on this, and something that I think a lot of people have heard, but if you haven't, if this is something that happens to you, make sure that you are screaming fire, not help, screaming, I don't know this person, get off it, like making a scene, and fight dirty, fight to harm, fight to maim. Don't just fight to get away, fight to leave an imprint on someone, fight to identify someone and make sure that they cannot walk away from this unharmed. And a really great tip that I had never seen before that this person was talking about that they carry with them everywhere is spray paint. Because spray someone with spray paint, you need medical attention in your eyes, in your lungs immediately. You can wash it off of your clothes. It's going to take a while to get out. It's going to take even longer. I mean, you can wash it off of your skin, not going to come out of your clothes. And so you've essentially, this person who attacked me has hot pink spray paint all over them. And it's going to slow them down and harm them in a sense that like they will need to seek medical attention and get help that way. And yeah, this is just like horrible and awful and like so traumatizing and jarring. And to see people who have been, this has happened to them like over the course of like, someone was like, oh yeah, this happened to me like 7 years ago, my first day in New York on my first day of college. Like, holy fucking shit. And hearing that like how the police and justice system have failed since then, that nothing has changed in what can happen from this. And I hope that the only good thing that can come from this is one of the good things I think has come from social media and TikTok is like this community of women of like supporting each other, holding each other up and carrying each other through these things and paying attention to men and coming together against all of this stuff. Is that knowing how widespread this is, then we can't shut up about it. Because if you keep us all in the dark about knowing this happens, you keep people ashamed for reporting this, or you keep whatever. And I applaud everyone who has come forward and said this has happened to them, because a lot of people have said they felt really embarrassed and they felt like they just like, I should have been watching where I was going and all of these kinds of things. But like breaking down and being like, no, I was a victim. I didn't do anything fucking wrong. Helps other people feel comfortable coming forward to this and like making a rise about this. And this shit like should not fucking happen.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah. I saw some man, I don't even know if it was about this story specifically, but some man, it was this past week, was like, women need to stay in the house. Like, it's dangerous out here. And I'm like, I was like reading through the comments and I'm like, is no one seeing? It's men that need to stay in the house. Like, why shouldn't we be able to live our lives safely because men are the aggressors?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that.
No, men can't hold each other accountable. So then we need to protect each other.
Mm-hmm.
You can't shame and fear us. I mean, we can't be afraid of you and be shamed into like silence and submission at this point.
So it's gross.
It's so fucking gross. And also, again, not at all suspicious that there can be like the fact that for a while they've been trying to pin like all of these on this one man. I'm like, oh yeah, for sure. Because of course, women, there's already 27 women, but it's not all men. It has to just be this one person because every woman knows someone who's been sexually assaulted, but no man knows any man who would have ever do that.
Yes. I mean, it's like similar to Asian hate when people are going around punching old people in the face, old Asian people in the face. And it was like people at first were blaming it on one person. It was like, no, there are a lot of hateful people out here.
Yep. And like when we encourage and we let that rhetoric fucking slide and we let whatever discourse online and we're fine with it. And then we monetize that discourse, it incentivizes people to do this because they feel emboldened by it, by literal financial gain, not just notoriety online or just truly financial gain. And it's fucked. And I encourage everybody, the like silent bystander effect, to just be aware of your surroundings as a bystander and intervene, help when you can. And don't just assume someone else is going to.
Yeah.
If you see something going on that does not look right and you're driving down the street, I will pull my car over and my car is still locked and I will just figure out what's going on and then be like, oh, okay, these people are laughing. Okay, this is someone else is here or whatever that is. But just knowing that intervening, we need to be doing that for other people because we expect and want that done for us. And community is a conscious everyday act. It's not just something that it appears out of thin air when we're in dire need. Like we have to build that. Ugh. Awful, disgusting, horrible. And yeah, people are also showing like great self-defense stuff and like fighting things and that stuff, which I hope no one ever has to use. But I was like definitely brushing up on that from people I follow.
Yeah.
So carry spray paint and also check whatever is legal wherever you can carry what other things you can.
All right. Well, that's the end of our episode.
We hope you all enjoyed. And if you did, you can always leave us a review for the podcast over on podcast app, Apple Podcast, or even for episode specific on Spotify. If you want more of us, you can join our Patreon. You can watch the video versions. You can also hang out with us in our live streams that we do twice a month. It's a grand old jolly old time. And if you would like to play Monopoly Go with us, start of a new season, ready. We're going for it. This is the first time we will have been playing Monopoly Go in our Patreon at the start of a season, like at the very beginning.
That's true.
Well, we hope you all enjoyed. We love you so much. Stay tuned tomorrow to listen to the results from last week's episode. And let's see when I get the votes up for this week.
I sent them right away.
You already sent them?
I sent them last night.
That's what you sent me last night. I was like, you sent me something last night. Well, I'll be working on those.
All right. Toodaloo. We will
circle back. But Am I Wrong is a production by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa DeMonts, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
And production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
Welcome to the small town of Chinook, where faith runs deep and secrets run deeper. In this new thriller, religion and crime collide when a gruesome murder rocks the isolated Montana community. Everyone is quick to point their fingers at a drug-addicted teenager, but local deputy Ruth Vogel isn't convinced. She suspects connections to a powerful religious group. Enter federal agent V.B. Lauro, who has been investigating a local church for possible criminal activity. The pair form an unlikely partnership to catch the killer, unearthing secrets that leave Ruth torn between her duty to the law, her religious convictions, and her very own family. But something more sinister than murder is afoot, and someone is watching Ruth. Chinook, starring Kelly Marie Tran and Sanaa Lathan. Listen to Chinook wherever you get your podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
I'm Brennan Storr.
I'm Paul Bestall.
We're the Ghost Story Guys.
And every 2 weeks, we explore first-person stories of encounters with the paranormal from all around the world.
Then we have some fun reacting to those stories. We like to say our goal is to scare the hell out of you, then make you laugh.
Belief in the paranormal is not required. All you need is a love of great storytelling and curiosity about the world around you.
Subscribe to the Ghost Story Guys now on your favorite podcatcher to hear episodes like High Strangeness in Chicago, The Mystery of Missing Time, and The Haunting of Vietnam, along with dozens of others.
We've talked about mythical bridges, doppelgangers, haunted seaside towns, and so much more.
Remember that story about the guy who was trapped inside a dream and something was hunting him? That was upsetting.
Yes it was.
Want us to help ruin your sleep? Come find the Ghost Story Guys on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else fine podcasts live, or at ghoststoryguys.com.